So one of the things I think that goes very, very much unnoticed is even though despite the popularity of the Conservative Party, when it comes to polling people, very often we have overwhelming amount of public support against a lot of the very things that even Conservatives stood for. And sometimes, even amongst Conservatives themselves, they disagree with their own party. And we are seeing that right now with tax cuts. We've always said it. If government want to cut taxes, then you are explicitly saying something somewhere that the government currently does means that it won't get as much funding, or you might even be cutting services somewhere. And we've seen through austerity a lot of the services that have been cut have been done deliberately, essentially to councils. They've had their budget reduced massively, meaning that they cannot provide a lot of the services that they used to. And even more now, they're wanting to push this tax cuts again. Again, based on the false promises that, oh, if we cut taxes, then the economy benefits. Well, we've had some of the lowest taxes in all of Europe for the past 12 years. Doesn't really seem to be working. But of course, we've said this before, the Conservatives are on this ideological train. Stoke the fire, stoke the coal, we're going down the track. Doesn't matter what is coming ahead, or the fact that there might be no more track ahead, or there might be problems down the line. Doesn't matter, just plow on regardless. And unfortunately, this is certainly a case where we are seeing a massive split between certainly, once again, the public versus sort of the direction the Conservative Party are currently traveling in. So let's go into this poll, because it does make for some very interesting reading. So, as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, there is the Pony Club as well. And of course, there's the YouTube thank you button as well. So, over we go, over to The Guardian. With their take on this, of the public don't want tax cuts, and Truss and Sunak are promising, a poll reveals. Most of the public are not demanding tax cuts. Most of the public are not demanding taxes are cut, and more than a quarter actually want them increased in order to spend on public services, a new Observer poll has revealed. Despite the Tory leadership contest dominating by the timing of tax cuts, the latest opinion poll has found that there is no great clamour for them, with concerns around funding for schools and the NHS beginning and heading into the autumn. Around a third, 34%, say that taxes and spending on public services should remain at current levels, while 26% should say they should be increased on tax to increase the funding, and only 22% said that taxes should be reduced and less spent on public services. This lack of enthusiasm was also very apparent amongst those who voted Conservative in the last election, with 41% said they wanted to see levels remain as they are now, and meanwhile 27% said they wanted to see a cut in taxes, and 22% said they wanted an increase. Liz Truss, the current frontrunner to replace Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, has already promised an immediate programme of tax cuts costing around £30 billion. And reversing the increase in national insurance contribution, and even ditching a planned increase in corporation tax. Rishi Sunak has said that the business tax cuts would be prioritised, and pledging a 1p increase in income tax in 2024, but wants to cut inflation first. The tone of the debate is causing despair in Whitehall, with the candidates battling out in a threat of the recession and rising costs continuing to mount. What was Westminster's response? Poorly managed government for months of an MP fratricide, that now a complete farcical leadership debate dominated by fancy tax promises, which will all produce a weak, ill-suited new Truss government that cannot handle the autumn tsunami coming, said one Whitehall source. Yeah, we've already said that a number of times, but yeah, this is going to be an absolute disaster for them. Senior Tories have also warned that Truss's tax cuts will fuel inflation, but the public are split on the impact. About a quarter, only 24%, think that tax cuts might make inflation go up, while 12% do agree with Truss that it would make the rate go down, while 42% think that it would not make any difference. So 24%, sorry, not 42. The opinion poll also reveals that Tory voters are now appear to be won over by Truss, who has led on the opinion polls of Tory members throughout the contest. The proportion of 2019 Tory voters think that, quote, she looks like a prime minister in waiting has gone up by 5% to 28%. Overall, since the last opinion poll, Sunak has seen his rating drop from 14 to 6% amongst the 2019 Tory voters, where 48% think that Truss would be the best prime minister compared to just 22% selecting Sunak. This suggesting may regard Truss's win as a foregone conclusion. And although there are still weeks to go in the contest, Sunak's campaign has insisted he can still win and that the polls of the Tory members should not be relied upon. We'll see. We'll see very soon. In a race that has seen candidates make regular announcements in a bid to try and win over the 160,000 Tory members with a vote in this contest, Sunak today attempts to appeal to them with a pledge to take action against university degrees that have very poor outcomes for students and have also vowed to boost vocational education. Adam Drummond, the Associate Director of Opinion, said the way in which the Tory votes now rated Liz Truss across a series of positive attributes was up by double-digit amounts. Tory voters think they are more likely to win the next election with Truss than Sunak, and when the two candidates are put head-to-head in matchups against Keir Starmer amongst all voters, Sunak trails by 4%, essentially the same as Boris Johnson, and Truss leads by 1%. Although the real winner in all of these head-to-heads is the none of these, which is higher than any individual candidate, he said. But in October, energy prices are going up by 70%, and the Bank of England predicts a fifth quarter recession. And any honeymoon that the new Prime Minister is likely to get will be very short-lived. So, yeah, we've got a massive amount of troubles, and I think it was put quite rightly by that Whitehall source, a tsunami of troubles. Whoever gets in, and let's face it, it's going to be Truss. I've said before, 90% chance she wins. That 10% is only there in case there's a scandal or she says something so monumentally stupid it turns people off. But to be honest, given those polls, given the polling numbers, I think she's won. I think at this point, Rishi Sunak might as well just throw in the towel. I think he's kidding himself if he thinks that he can somehow pull back this contest. But there you go. Once again, I keep on saying it, keep on bringing it to people's attention. People want good public services. If you want good public services, well, then you have to raise taxes. That's it. And people have seen through over 12 years of the very Tory government who has slashed services almost to the bone in many areas and have seen things like the NHS and education get worse over these period of times. And they want to see those services improve. Not only that, they want to see local services be improved as well. One of the best quotes I've ever heard about austerity actually came from the leader of Barnsley Council, where he just said, things just disappear. And that's what has been happening over the last couple of years with austerity. Things have just disappeared and people have had enough. They really have. And it's not just here up in the north. You even see it there with Tory voters overwhelmingly saying, no, we don't want tax cuts. We want things to stay as they are. And other people saying, no, I think we should increase them to pay for, more public services. So this idea of just, we're going to go cut taxes is completely farcical thinking, and it shows just what an ideological bent they're on. But there you go. That's the current Tory leadership contest in a nutshell. But there you go. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below there are my links for Patreon page, Buy Me Coffee, YouTube thank you button, and of course the Pony Club as well. And thank you very much to everyone who does support the channel that way. And of course, we'll see you all next time.